Whoops.
Live. Oh.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hello.
We are live. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Greetings,
Hello.
Gordon.
Most of us are alive.
Hey, look, Gordon.
Most of us.
Ropes. Oh.
Not all of us.
All right. Season 2 of Tribus.
Wow. All right. Hello, and welcome to Black Dragon Roleplay, where we are not professional voice actors. We are not gaming gods. We are just a group of friends that have been brought together through the love of story who want to share our tabletop adventures with all of you. Before we start our session proper, we are so glad that you are here watching us live on Twitch. We appreciate all the support that we have here. If you are new here and want to keep up with the campaign, drop us a follow. If you'd like to support us, then there is a subscribe button. You can drop your Prime or sub for some emotes, support the stream any way that you wish. We greatly appreciate everyone who supports the stream. We have a YouTube, we have social media, we have a Discord, we have our personal links. All of this and more can be found in the info boxes below. We play D&D every Friday, but we also play video games on this channel and do other things. Join us Tuesdays for Thumper and the Moose, aka Tuesday nights, where we play through the Xbox Game Pass game by game in hopes that someone from Microsoft stumbles upon our stream and buys us for $67 million. $billion. We've been playing Stellaris, space colonization and domination game, and we've been having a lot of fun with that. We are now, are we 39 or 40 episodes into this campaign,
This is 41.
Ryan?
This is 41.
This is completely low. Oh, well.
This is 41.
41. We're now 41 episodes into this campaign, so if you have missed anything or would like to watch the show from the beginning, please take a look at our YouTube page. Every previous session is eventually posted on there within a week or two. Please join us on YouTube. Click that like button, and don't forget to feed the dragon.
It's so
Let's
hungry.
get into tonight's action.
Still not sure about that.
Ryan, take us away for the intro.
So, Tribus, Season 2. Our would-be adventurers are all unconscious. Sorry, what? Oh, they're telling me I
Intro.
got a little too... No, you're the intro boy.
No. We have an intro, remember?
Oh, you want the actual intro?
The actual intro, yes.
We've been gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
What's
I know.
going
See,
on?
this is the first- we only did it once.
Everything
Do we need to have a
falls
production
apart.
meeting?
Yes.
Oh no.
We're professional
We have 3
streamers.
weeks.
Oh.
Almost ready? Ready?
It's done.
All right.
Now.
Thank you, Ryan, for doing that. We'll have a production meeting later and go over our night tonight. Anyway, let's start with our recap of our last episode. In our last session, we were in Mount Titan Crest at an observatory that was able to basically scry throughout the entire realm. After looking over the observation tower and bringing the scrying eye to look over the rest of Aura, the Shadow Queen ends up entangling the orb itself and eventually breaking the control of the observation tower after commenting about that her plans were not ready to be seen yet. She breaks the scry and seemingly breaks the observatory. As Boltzmann and Emmy rush to try to figure out how to make the machine work again, eventually the arcane energy is restored, and as Emmy touches the ball, the large sphere in front of her face is blown up many times across this 150-foot span of observation tower, and something strange is seen. As she runs out of the room, Camael goes and comforts her, and they have a mostly honest and meaningful conversation about their pasts and what their identities are. And Saoirse follows up with some words of wisdom of her own. As the group returns to the observation and is continue to working, Boltzmann is able to find his old command center and see at least a portion of his old haunts, including seeing what was prototyped, but not able to dig deeper into the administration wings or the R&D, where his true desire to see what was going on led. After that, we also checked in on Bloomer Spring, where Boltzmann is able to see Tannenbaum set up with his own shop, the illithid that once gave him many nights of sleepless encounters with his own illithid in his own head. Tannenbaum is now set up shop in Bloomer Spring, distributing potions there in the market. Due to Dante's keen observation, he sees something out into the ocean, and as you zoom in and are able to get a hold of what was out there, you see a ship of sorts, full of illithid. And you also see those that are being converted into illithid. This upsetting Boltzmann and the rest of the party, they send word to Tippy to make sure that Weiss understands what the situation is in Bloomer Spring, and hopefully he has an answer to some of those issues. Saoirse at the last moment uses the observation wheel to take a look at her mother, and finds his mother reading a note from her sister, who is talking about evolving from her human form. Her mother is very emotional about this and takes off towards Aura, with Saoirse watching. The group, having at first caught the eye of this Shadow Queen and unknowing if they are now any increased danger because of this, the group decide to leave quickly and take the Starstone gate and creates a portal and goes to Udjat, the next location of where the next relic they believe is to be found. So that is where you guys leave off. As you walk through this observation room into this portal, you are instantly transformed and pulled. You feel this pulling sensation deepening in your gut, and as you land, you feel a breath of fresh air hits you, as each of you are now leaving this dank darkness of the confines of the Starcaster Shrine and the Arcane Observatory, and are thrown into this clearing, a much warmer, much more pleasant, grassy clearing surrounded by dense forest. Directly ahead of you stands a tree that is noticeable. Not only is it larger and more full than anything around it, also has a natural path leading from the glade into a deeper covering. Camael, you see this large tree with its interesting mangrove roots. You see, one second. You see this large tree with its interesting mangrove type style roots that seem to elevate the base of the tree. It stands out to you as it did many years ago. This was your home for a very, very long time. Although it's dark out, you can still make out the details. This is where you minded the business of the forest much more than you minded the dealings of man. This was the place where you learned about injustice and how men did not treat each other the same. Here you learned the word slave. You watched yourself looking now in the flesh at this place, this once sacred ground. Your sanctuary feels hollow. Not only is there no longer any trace of your nest, but it feels as whatever held you here, whatever kept you here for so long, is gone. What are you guys doing?
Bran will be hunched over on the grass, kind of squatting as he attempts to hold back their lunch that he had prepared earlier for them. Sick and tired of these portals.
Still ain't used to magic doors.
I always thought you'd gotten used to it, Bran. After all this time we've had, looking around though, this this place that they're in, what's the weather like? DM.
It's warmer, much warmer than what you were. You guys started. It's been a very long day. You started this day fighting a titan. Entering the cave and this Arctic realm above, this top of the mountain, very cold. This dank, very still cold cave that you guys were in. Now, really a fresh air is surrounding you. It's a little bit humid, but not overwhelming, not oppressive. But it's actually pretty pleasant, especially from where you came from.
Because from what Boltzmann would remember, the last time they were here, it was extremely more. I don't know. It was hotter than what they were used to.
Yes, it is.
Boltzmann just remember.
It's a little bit more. It's a little warmer than what you would normally see, like in Alma, but it's not. It's very close to what you would find in Alma. Elsewhere in Udjat, it's more tropical, and depending on where you're at, this is the climate is not quite as warm as what you had before.
Yeah. All right.
More temperature.
Yeah. Just given that, Boltzmann's just gonna start observing the surroundings, just wanting to take in the forest, the views. And as well as trying to already sensing if this is the temperature here is gonna warrant him having to take off his coat, just like last time they've been in Udjat.
Emmy's probably doing the same, just as far as she's not saying she has not been in this territory before, but she is taking note of, just where they are first and foremost, and any kind of interestingly, particularly this very noticeable tree, she just kind of slowly pulls out her grimoire and starts taking note of it. Because it stands out in particular here.
Yes. So,
Camael, what are you feeling?
Oh. So Camael is just standing there and she's really quiet. She is fixated on this tree and she looks around. Her eyes scan the area, and the longer she's staring, the more she seems saddened by it. And looking around at everyone else, seeing that poor Branimir is keeled over, trying to hold his dinner in. And Emmy is already taking notes and sketching in her grimoire. She slowly makes her way up the path. She doesn't say anything to them. She just slowly makes her way up the path and stands by the foot of this big tree. And she's just staring at it, mostly inspecting the trunk.
Mhm.
And a small little smile kind of like rises from her lips, and she traces something in particular on the trunk. And she, all this time, she's just been really quiet.
Is this area dangerous? Do we need to secure a perimeter or go scouting? Or how well do you know this area, Camael? He says as he sort of walks up behind her.
It has been a very long time. Too long, but when I was here, it was just me, pulling pranks and drawing on trees. So yeah, I was an artist back then. And she kind of points at the the crudely drawn deer and flowers and butterflies. And it's so badly drawn, it's almost like a child drew it and etched it on the trunk.
One of the symbols that you point out that is not representative of anything in the forest is this symbol. I just posted it in campaign handouts.
Okay.
Aliens.
Does anyone read Celestial?
I
Camael does.
can.
Wouldn't admit it if I could.
Camael, you recognize this as what you've known all your life as your name.
Mm.
Who else? Who else said they had Celestial?
Well, Emmy has third eye. She can read any language if she wants to.
Are you looking
Trying
at
to
this
see how
piece?
long that lasts until you occupy or take a. Yeah. It
Okay.
is third eye.
Okay. You see a word that is not common to any specific language. It's based in Celestial, but it almost seems ancient, the way English and Old English are connected, but can be very different. To you, this word reads guardian.
She adds that to her little. She adds that to the sketch. Writes it out, and writes it out in common as well. Guardian. Fascinating.
You can read that? Camael is stunned.
Oh, can't everyone? No, I'm kidding. No, it's I can read a number of languages. Not much gets past me, you know? And she kind of taps her head.
Oh, I never knew that. Of course, I didn't ask. So, but to answer your question, Dante, I'm sorry. No, she kind of makes a face and she does her animated hands. There are some parts here that you probably shouldn't wander off into because we do have wolves. And she grins and looks at Dante. And they are huge.
They walk on four legs though, right?
Camael was about to answer, and then she kind of catches what he's trying to say. And that smile just quickly drops. And she just stares at him.
It's got completely innocent
Silenced.
face. Innocent face.
Boltzmann chimes in, like, how large? Like owlbear large or giant large? He stretches out his arms. This shouldn't be a concern, right? I mean, you are with us, and he trails off a bit, waiting for a sort of reply.
Owlbear large, adult owlbear large, or Addie
Adult
owlbear large?
No, like owlbear large.
Addie's an owlbear. She's real cute.
Adult owlbear large.
Oh, there you
He
go.
reiterates.
Don't bring my Eddie into this.
It's only for reference, I promise.
Have a drink
She'll
of
be
water.
a very
Bran.
large. She'll be a very large. Very large.
All right.
Nope.
Just
Oh dear.
Should
he's not very used to it.
Saoirse and I scout around the area, or
No. And immediately, that answer was so immediate. It was so quick. I will do that myself. Yeah.
okay?
Right.
I'm sure more sets of eyes is useful, no?
Oh, so you're gonna fly? Are you gonna fly around? And...
That is a pretty
Well-
useful trick.
It is pretty useful having wings, yes. But there are no wolves this close. Only, your usual deer and stags and other animals that are friendly. Yes.
Okay. You're acting
So
very
why don't-
strange, Camael.
I'm not acting strange. I don't know what you're talking about.
The way you say that does not exactly fill me with much confidence, but I will have to take your word for it. Right, Brad?
Brandon just he heaves
needs
and
a
then
minute.
he simply like just raises a thumbs up towards Boltzmann.
You want something to eat, Bran?
It's
Replace
Just
what you
quickly
lost?
just waves. He waves towards Dante like no.
Have a sausage.
listen. It's always a little awkward when you're returning after a long time to a family home. It's the same across the board. So if it's a little weird, then it's a little weird. But if you know the area best, Cam, then you can scout. And we can maybe get our bearings here.
Just set up camp. I know your camp will take a little longer to put up, so this is the perfect spot to just relax. We've had a long day, and I'm just gonna. And she slowly inches away. I'm just gonna go.
Before you step away, Cam, roll a perception check.
Perception. All right. First roll
First
of the
roll of the
night. Oh.
Besides Dante initiative roll out of nowhere.
For some reason, yeah.
Just checking
Just
something.
in
ready.
case.
Preparing in
Against
advance.
the
He's ready to go.
It's all good to go.
One moment. My internet is a little slow, just a little slow, but I'm not complaining.
I am. Mine's crap right now.
I am so sorry. Okay. Was that
Oh, you hear each
perception?
other.
Yeah, perception.
All right, here we go. Okay, it rolled, I think.
As you turn to be able to kind of go and scout a little bit, you remember the last time that you were here. You remember the very last time that you were here, and you glance back towards the tree, and you remember the rock pile, and that you left here decades ago, and there's not a single stone that remains. There's no evidence of anything being there. There's no rocks. There's no indentation, no overgrown grass or anything. It all looks deliberately almost put back.
Put back in what sense?
As in, there's not a single rock. It's as if nature did not remove these rocks. Something nature or something moved these rocks. These rocks are no longer just scattered or overgrown. They just simply are no longer there. Not a trace.
All right. That is upsetting. Camiel will take note of that and stop and just stare at that spot. And her face goes completely stoic. And she slowly just turns around and walks into the forest to just look and make sure that it is indeed safe. It has been a very long time. From what she has told everyone else, this is usually a safe spot, but it has been years since she's come home, so that can change depending on the mighty DM. So,
Anything's possible.
Of course.
Okay,
Like
so-
rocks moving. Yeah.
So roll one more perception check, just as an investigation. Your perception or investigation as you make rounds. How do you plan on patrolling or moving around?
Just perhaps in a more brisk pace. Just looking over areas and weaving through trees. Seeing if, oh my god, she should have brought Saoirse with her, but well, that's me as a player, but the character is not comfortable with that.
You do have a friend. Shoot, what's the name?
Atheon?
Avi, there you go.
Atheon.
Atheon.
Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. God damn it. Yeah, she'll call upon Atheon. Just to make this a lot quicker, actually.
Yeah, so you are able to kind of patrol and go around. You start out when you first get on Atheon and begin to look around. You take a moment and you realize you think for a moment about what's at stake and trying to be present in the moment and kind of push away the feelings that you have being back and seeing things that are much different than when you left. And you put that aside for a moment and focus on the task. With that 23, you were able to look around. You make a pretty good circle around, going a couple hundred meters in any direction, just to make sure that everything is clear and not seeing any large present danger. You're able to kind of return back and be secure that everything seems to be okay.
Okay. Yeah, she'll eventually she will make her way back to the party. And she basically tells them it's just as empty and just as safe as the last time I was here.
While Camael was gone, Saoirse would have still, she would have stayed in the clearing, but she would have been looking around on the ground and in the brush for any signs of recent activity, tracks, all that, just in case.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception, or give me a perception check.
Okay.
Or investigation, your choice.
Oh, no. That's
Okay.
an 8.
You look around, and I'll grant that you are a sophisticated tracker, so we'll throw some basic survival in there as well. And you're able to see some tracks. Everything that you see looks like normal, very prey game. Nothing large and menacing. There are deer tracks. You see some rabbit tracks. Very small game though. Nothing big. Nothing worrisome to you.
Yeah, she would. Once Camael gets back, she would share that with everyone. That she, looking around, she just. It seems like there hasn't been any recent activity other than, small animals and some deer.
Are we making camp?
I think we're just waiting for Cam to get back.
What time of day is it? Yeah.
It is late. You guys have had a very, very long day. even though you've taken 2 short rests within the period. Since you fought the Titan, you still have not taken a full rest.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
crap. You're right.
It's the same
Oh,
day. You
God,
guys
yeah,
fought the
right.
Titan
Oh, I
in the
thought we did.
morning.
Yep.
No, you guys fought the Titan in the
Going to
morning.
Udjat at night.
Went into the cave. Took a short rest. Looked at the orb. Got scared and then ran off.
Oh, that's right. I didn't get hit.
Forced our hand.
Sounds like strong adventurers here.
Dante's all good. Didn't get hit.
Yeah, me neither.
For Branimir.
Poor Bran.
Oh,
Swamp.
that's
He
right,
got-
there.
Yeah.
he's-
Realizing
Oh
realizing
yeah. Oh yeah.
just realizing
Good to
this
go, guys.
though.
You've taken a short rest though, so you've gotten some hit points.
Yeah,
And you
I
feel
did I did take some healing from Camael, and there was some healing from the short rest. So he's pretty much almost topped off.
Ready to go.
Then yeah, realizing that it's just been a day. Time flies when you're in a cave. Boltzmann. Boltzmann just
4 weeks in real time.
yeah, it's been 4 weeks in real time. Yeah, Boltzmann just prepares his usual stuff for camp, and he looks over to Bran, seeing that Bran is he's not as messed up as he was earlier today. I'm fairly certain that he's still fairly certain that his armor is still all perforated and scratched and all that.
You actually still have it.
We kind of roleplay. Yeah, we kind of roleplay
Yeah.
that you did that the week that you were gone.
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh
Boltzmann
wow.
technically is still in possession of his armor, so yeah, Bran is not in his plate armor right now.
Oh, he's not. Okay,
Nope.
and well, in that case, then then
We know
I'm-
you too well.
Yeah, thank you very much, friendos. And I am going to assume that he stuffed it all in his bag of holding. If
You
he's
had
not
better.
carrying it.
You had better.
Yeah, yeah. No, he
we
forgot
left
it
it behind,
inside
didn't
that cave.
He left
Yeah,
it
we
at the
left it
observatory
inside
with Addy.
Yeah.
No,
Poor
Addy is
Addy.
with Bran. I made that abundantly clear at the end of the session that Addy was
And he's
with.
going. Yeah, Boltzmann. Just he just sits down quietly, somehow produces this massive suit of armor from his bag of holding.
Like a magician pulling
Yeah.
things out of his hat.
Yeah, it's like a clown car sort of thing. So yeah, he pulls it out, and with the clang of the metal just hitting the ground, and Boltzmann looks at it, and he just inspects the whatever carnage it had went through for this day, and he starts going to work on it. This is going to take a bit of time, Bran. All right, I'll get to it.
Many
And
thanks.
And he goes and he starts working on Bran's armor.
Dante would just do the fire and make sure that's all set up and ready to go while everybody else is doing anything else.
I think Bran would have recovered at this point, and he leans back and kind of like stretches almost as he lifts his head to look up at this giant tree. And I guess as Camael returns, he kind of remarks with a gesture with his chin towards the giant tree. That has to be the biggest tree I've ever seen in my life.
Somehow that
Camael.
doesn't sound right.
To
you,
everything
not.
to you does
You
not
not.
sound
Boltzmann just says that
Oh.
without even facing Bran, without even looking at Bran.
All eyes turn to him like, really?
Dante says pervert.
Yeah, he's still banging away at the armor, and he pauses for a bit, looks at everybody. What? Never mind.
You
He
filthy
goes back to
minded.
setting up the alarm spell
Boltzmann.
around their camp.
Oh, I said it.
Camael hops off of Atheon and gives it a little pat on the side to dismiss the animal. And walks up to Branimir, puts her hands on her hips, and she pauses for a bit and responds with a Well, imagine what that looked like to someone who is 5 foot tall. It's a castle.
Probably stronger than most castles.
Oh, it was brilliant. I even put the nest right there in that big old branch. You could just imagine.
He squints his eyes a bit, as if trying to spot any sort of sign of the nest that she speaks of. I don't see any.
Well, just imagine.
Can Brand, like, do I have to roll a like an insight check or something in order to tell if if there's something particularly off with Camael's personality, like just the way she said that, like, is there some anger in her tone that she's trying to hide?
I'll say. I'll say
Is she
no.
trying to hide it?
Well, yeah, Cam, are you hiding? Are you trying to?
Like the
God
anger in your
damn it.
voice.
God damn you!
Well,
What?
Roll an insight check then.
Go ahead.
okay.
I won't do it versus deception. I'll do it a DC.
Well, that's not
No,
that's not
you
good.
didn't beat the DC.
What about
You can
what
tell-
about
you can-
roll?
No, I made it against my check.
Oh,
Versus,
I got it.
Yeah, you can. She's different, but you don't understand exactly what's going on or what exactly. You just know that she's got a different tone.
Yeah, so he just squints his eyes at her and he just shakes his head.
So are you going to set up camp? Get some sleep?
Seems like Dante is setting up the fire. I might as well set up the kettle as well and possibly make some dinner.
Bran, we had dinner.
We had lunch.
Was that lunch or dinner?
Definitely time for dinner. You hear Dante call out.
I think last time was lunch.
Yeah, Bran just rolls his shoulders and he gestures towards Dante. You want some?
Always.
We want another repeat of the night before?
Oh, absolutely not. Go
That does
ahead.
not sound right.
Maybe he has to
again.
have his meals.
That does not sound right. What is going on?
Boltzmann!
I'm
stop it.
sorry. Sorry.
Dante does
I'm
love
sorry,
Brand
I'm
sausage.
sorry.
For being a man of intellect, you can be awfully crude and simple-minded sometimes.
Oh,
It's repression.
Boltzmann's taken aback at what you said, and he just
Boltzmann
shuts
will
his
remember
mouth.
that.
and he goes back to work.
Do you remember when
And
we
he's
first
still a
met?
little
Oh.
salty. I won't even lie. She's still a little salty with him, and she goes. She says that as she's passing by, finishing off the alarm spell, and she passes him and goes to set up her own camp while food's being made.
So, Emmy, do you remember when we first met? We were at that inn.
All right, here we go.
And I was introducing Boltzmann to you. Well, we decided
You
that
mean
he
that
needed a
time
little
y'all were babbling?
companionship. When he was, yes, when he was babbling. We decided he needed some companionship, whether that was verbal or otherwise. And you look like the sort with your books and your orb and your reading.
Is that
Do
what
you
we were
remember?
doing?
Dante, where are you going with this?
I'm just saying, give like all these dirty thoughts coming out of your mind here. You're not releasing them. You're not talking them. You're talking about other people.
I think this is just your influence on me.
I
He likes to
doubt
say
that.
we a lot.
I'm not the one
You
who
two
reads
were
dirty
together
books.
when we met. Dirty books.
Yeah. Anyway,
She said, as
I was
if she
just
doesn't
trying
have
to
like
help.
her own
I was
sex.
just trying to help, Boltzmann. You're always so grumpy. And mumbling to yourself.
Grumbles.
Furious
okay.
banging noises.
Oh, maybe you do need to be more of an influence on him, Dante.
I'm trying very hard.
You're a
Stop
good
trying.
man.
We need to go to more inns and taverns.
Can you leave him
Well,
alone?
Let's go like Silt.
This might depend on what we're trying to do. Oh, shoot. Now you've got me saying we.
See?
We're
I
a
told you.
group. We have to, get used to it. Okay, what are we doing? What's our next? What's our goal here? We're here.
Is this in character or?
This is in character. Dante's just in there. What are we doing? Are we once we camped here for the night? Where are we off to?
I think we need Camael as our, well, a bit of a guide. She knows the area best, but Saoirse's also pretty dang good at it. But we're heading to find this next relic, no? Do we know which direction we're even heading in?
Camael kind of raises a finger. I only know the forest. I don't know anything outside of it. Long story.
It's okay.
Nothing wrong with staying close to home when you're in a large area like that. But like I said, Saoirse knows well enough. Great tracker.
Do we know where we're going though? Do we have an idea? Like, do we?
Well, according to the map, it says that it's in Sladir Forest.
Oh, well,
Oh, right.
Duh.
how big is this forest?
It's huge.
Okay.
Yes, there's a reason as to why I didn't. She pauses.
Well,
It's just big.
well, look, we've had experience with the first one that we recovered / second. So we just need to look for giants guarding strange locations or something like that.
Practical.
Wasn't like that for the
Very
first one.
practical.
The place where you guys were told, or the letters that King Morton had given, Temple of the Makers in Udjat, southeast of the Sledidir Forest.
So not
You guys
in the forest
are-
proper.
Oh, not within.
So southeast of the Sledidir Forest.
East.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
So you do have a
well,
direction.
Yeah, so remembering that southeast, then he brings up, puts out his arms straight, like pointing into the sky. He can accurately tell which way is north. DM. So what he does is that he points north and then just turns around, pointing towards where southeast is, and right should be right, and that should be our general direction. He points towards the southeast.
Thank you, Boltzmann.
And he
Not
just
attached
nods
at
and he just nods and goes back to work.
Dante actually sounds disappointed. So, okay, so we have a location. Wonderful. It's going to be easy.
Easy.
Yes.
Sure. Titans are real easy.
Well, Bran took care of the last one, and Camael.
All of
Don't
us
have
did.
another one of those potions. Just
You
remind you.
don't?
That was a one-time use item.
Now, do you happen to have any? Are there any droplets left over of that particular potion? Just a little something. I can work with very little.
If you want notes, Emmy, I'd suggest you turn to Boltzmann. He already requested that sort of thing when I first got it.
Ah,
Remember, the first application was a Tenenbaum solution, and the second one was mine. So I can always make a new batch for my formulation. So you don't have to worry about that. But Tenenbaum's version was a bit stronger, so sorry about that, though.
might need 2 heads instead of 1. Perhaps. We might have to share notes at some point. Then she goes back to setting up her camp. That's all she says.
Dante's shaking his head and giggling to himself.
Weren't they just butting
time-
heads 5 minutes ago? Not
No.
less than 5 minutes ago.
It's like every time Dante giggles, you know there's a demon just tickling his balls.
Oh, that sounds pleasant. Bran, where's the food?
Brand's gonna pull out his skillet and like his fucking cast iron skillet. Actually, yeah. I'd like to see if I can make something tonight, DM.
I think you already did. You did inside the other one. Only do that once a day. You could do something for roleplay purposes, but
I can't do it more than once a day.
yeah, new rule.
Ooh.
Oh, I see. Okay. Let's put limitations on Brand's already stunted RP mechanic.
Nerf, boy.
You're
You're
perfect
almost done with that,
badass.
aren't you? You've almost done it all. You've only got a couple more days, probably.
Yeah, but everyone gets fancy things, and I just get a cooking RP mechanic, and I want to level. Let me have my cooking mama simulator. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Fine, you convinced me. You can do it the second time. You got to roll it over a 20 on your cooking. Go ahead.
What? So that
Just,
changes
yeah.
the statistics
Just-
on the.
Just increase the DC each time he does it throughout the day. Works. If he wants
There
to
you
do it a
go. That's
dozen
what I'm
times, it's like a DC 100.
That's like putting a penalty on when Bolton brings out Barnabas. Oh, fine. I'll skip. Fine. I'll just hand Dante an apple. Let's just say, for RP purposes, that Dante's insistence pissed off Bran, so he just throws an apple at Dante, and it's like, "Here's your dinner.
What about a sausage?
You don't even deserve a sausage."
Wow.
Why is everybody in the mood right now?
Well, I just so happen to have my guts pulled inside out.
Boltzmann just looks at you, Bran.
In more ways than one.
Alright, I think we're all just
Been a
tired.
day.
Hmm.
It's been a real long day.
Who wants to take the first watch?
Yeah. As you guys set up camp, who's gonna take watches?
And he can stay up.
Jimmy can take first.
Mhm.
Boltzmann, no, Boltzmann would be a bit more preoccupied with. He will be staying up a bit later than the rest, because he'll be working on 1, Brand's armor, and 2, his other stuff. Though he wouldn't be in 100% capacity to, just completely take watch.
So who's anyone else gonna take watch?
Dante will take the morning watch, like the one. However we divide the night, he'll take the one closest to the morning.
Yeah, and Sirsha would be willing to take second watch in between Emmy and Dante.
Okay. So anything else you guys want to do before you hunker down?
Well, if given enough time, then probably Boltzmann would be finished with repairing Brand's armor just before anybody would be completely going to sleep. And Boltzmann's just gonna call out to Bran. Bran, your armor's fixed.
Bran kind of slinks over to where Boltzmann is, and he kind of bends over to inspect the craftsmanship, the quality craftsmanship that Boltzmann brings.
And
With the repairs.
given how everything is a bit more messy nowadays, I think you'll appreciate these small upgrades, I guess. Just see for yourself. And he turns over towards the inner side of the armor. It's got a bit more lining to it. It feels a bit softer now. He points out towards the elbow, towards the joints of the armor. There's a bit more. It feels a bit more protected now. But still not losing any. Still not sacrificing the mobility, and and also just
Mithril.
pointing out Mithril, and he points out, and he just shows them the parts where he fixed up the perforations, and while still not removing the aesthetic, the quote unquote aesthetics that are the scratches and the scratches on the armor. Just to give it that.
You gotta have those battle scars.
Yeah, just to give it that. Yeah, I've been through shit. Look, and he's also what do you call that? Like retouched, I guess, is that the term? I do recall you still have that wheat symbol on one pauldron. All right.
Yeah, the wheat. Yeah, the wheat symbol for the uplifter.
Yeah, it's at this point it's probably been also it's been worn now. You can see that it's been retouched. You can see it clearly again in the armor, and that is my flavoring of giving Bran the +2 armor from from my Artificer Infusion.
Silver lining.
Because we are now at level 10, and that means that my infusion now gives +2, a +2 bonus instead of a +1. So yeah, there you go, Bran. Merry Christmas.
DM taketh away, and the artificer giveth.
Hells yeah. And with that,
Nerf the cleric.
nerf the cleric, the artificer buffs. Hells yeah. Well, given that, off to my next project. And now, as soon as you, Bran, taketh away the suit of armor, he pulls out his arcane firearm, disassembles it right in front of him, starts tinkering with it as well. And yeah, that's Boltzmann.
This is my rifle. This is my gun.
Hells yeah. What else is
Metal
Boltzmann?
check.
So as slowly everything kind of falls asleep within the camp, Emmy, you are left awake. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Surely. She while I'm finding this, she wanted to take a minute to also like she wants to ask Professor Vormund if he's actually doing what Moontree said he was doing. Which was blocking him from seeing anything in the bag. 22.
So at a 22, you take the evening. Everything seems to be okay. You do notice there's a little bit of rustling here and there. There seems to be some small creatures about. Nothing big, nothing menacing. Yeah, nothing that you seem to be too scared of. The one thing that you do notice is there's a rustling at one point. You look over and you do see a little rabbit kind of hop through the middle of camp. Notice the fire that you guys have set up, and then turn back quickly and run the other way. But at the beginning of your watch, you do talk to Professor Worm.
Yeah, I guess at the beginning, just she wants to get that real quick clarified because then she wants to sit with Moontree, let Moontree sort of take watch with her like an adventurer would. So she wants to get that resolved first.
So as you go and focus for a moment, the camp's still drifting off to sleep. Before your watch, you take a moment and you touch the orb, and the blue becomes your focus, and everything that you see around you swirls into a blue focus, and you see in a moment you were taken away from this outside space to the inside of this familiar study to you, where you see the professor with his sweater vest, sweater with large elbow patches, smoking on a pipe in his study. You sitting now next to him in the chair next to his. Oh, hello there. Welcome back. It's been a while. How are you this evening?
Oh boy, Professor, it has been quite a day. I'm tired.
Yes, it's very difficult. You've had many challenges today, yes?
Yes. Thank goodness for people like Saoirse. I should bring her in here for you to meet her. She's fantastic.
Yes, from what I've seen, she's a very lovely person.
Yes. We'll make
I
the
have gone
introduction.
French for some reason. That's okay.
You're so smart. You just bounce around. I understand.
It's very hard to keep track of all these voices sometimes. Whatever it becomes, you know?
That's why we love you, Professor. I did have
What can I do for you today?
quick question. It's not. We're not going to overthink too much. Just so you remember Moontree, my little friend, little puppet friend. Oh boy, there's all sorts of stuff I got to figure out about him. First, I just wanted to ask a question. He was saying that maybe while y'all were in my bag, there's a bit of jostling going around, and he seems to think that you were purposefully, potentially moving in front of his line of sight while we were traveling. And I just wanted to confirm what was going on, just make sure nothing was wrong, or if you actually maybe know something or sense something about him that I ought to know. Perhaps.
You see in the professor's face, normally this inquisitive, curious, but fun-loving, thirst for knowledge. This is the first time you've seen, not the first time, but one of the very few times where you've seen other emotions appear. And you see his face, and it gets almost stern. Well, yes, I did. Amy, you have to be very careful with this. Whatever it is something that is unnatural. It is something that could be very potentially dangerous from what I've seen, and I'm just worried about you. The less information he has, most likely the better. It's very difficult for me. It's my job to make sure you are knowledgeable, but also I feel a sense of protection.
I do appreciate that, of course. Just what is it about him other than the unnatural? I mean, you and I have spoken numerous times about things that might be unnatural, and she kind of starts to look a little uncomfortable. She says the word and what she's referring to. But she says, but don't we deserve a chance to prove ourselves?
Very much
Has
so.
he done?
Very much so. It is. Perhaps my emotions got the better of me.
What is it about him?
Well, for one, he is a talking puppet. Yes?
Yes.
Well, I guess I am a talking ball. It does not make much of a difference. Golden Hammer seemed very lacking of details, which is very concerning, yes?
Yes.
It seems that something is happening. Something happened to his hands, something could possibly endanger you. That is my only concern. I do trust you, though. If you feel it necessary to investigate further, I understand.
Well, thank you, Professor. And I know you've always looked out for me, beyond just books and talk. You've been a really good friend to me, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
I don't know if it makes a difference, as she quotes from Kennedy's journal, that entry regarding Golden Hammer. And she asks, does that think you might know anything about that? What kind of magic could be going on, and how we might be able to maybe fix that?
It is something that I could look into.
Oh, I would so appreciate that.
Yes, give me some time, and I will definitely see what I can do.
Excellent. If you have anything, you know where to reach me. You know,
Of course.
my bag.
Never far. Yes.
Never
very
far.
close. Mhm.
And I'll look into it myself a little too.
Oh, great.
Well, I'm glad that's resolved. And
I will be better. I promise. I will be better.
I think he might prefer it on my hip anyway. Just it's a nice view and maybe not so cramped in there. I hope you're comfortable in there. Are you comfortable in the bag? I know I put a lot of stuff in
Most
there.
of the time, I can maneuver. I can control myself a bit. I have a little more freedom than he does. Yes, the far superior sentient piece of yours. Anyway, yes. I should be fine. It's no problem.
Excellent. If there is any problem, you just let me know, of course, Professor.
Of course.
All right.
Takes
I
a
have to
big
get back
long
to work.
drag out of his. He takes a big long drag out of his pipe. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
All right. Have a good
And
night, Professor.
As you unfocus, your blue of the orb surrounds you again, encompassing your view, and in a moment you are only seconds away from where you were before this conversation.
So she puts Professor Vorman. Actually, she puts Professor Vorman next to her. Just for tonight. For the watch. She puts him on the ground next to her. And she takes out Moontree. Sorry, that is my cat. She takes out Moontree.
Moontree.
Did I say? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
And she asks him if he would like to join her and be a great adventurer for their watch for the night and help protect everyone, just like Bran would.
So you put Moontree on your hand?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
She just
So
wants to join the watch.
as you put Moontree on your hand, you feel a little bit of a sensation, and then, oh, hi. It's been a while. I saw you guys. I saw you guys fight the really big thing. The what was that thing called?
It was a Titan.
That thing was so big. That was crazy.
I know.
That was so big. So we're gonna do a watch together.
We are just like an adventurer, a big, strong
Yeah.
adventurer.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Did you look around yet or not yet? Should we walk around or do we stay still? Do we need to like make any traps or like create something like if somebody comes by then like a net pops up and like puts them to the top of the tree and then we take our sword and then we stab them in the tree. Like, is that what? Should we do that?
Yeah, one step at a time. So first things first is I already set up an alarm. So if anything does come by, I'm gonna hear it right away, and then we can go on the offensive.
Okay, that's smart.
Mhm.
Yeah, you use your magic. That's what you're best at, right? Use
It
your
is.
magic. Yeah.
It is.
Did you
And,
did you see Bran when he got really really big? He was like
How could I
almost
miss
as
it?
big as it was almost as big as a Titan. Did you see that? That was amazing.
And She's just like giggling at his. She's letting him talk like as much as he wants to, while she's keeping an eye out and listening out. And she pulls out one of her books. She pulls out one of her books, so she can keep kind of like glancing down at the pages while Moontree is like looking and talking. And looked amazing.
It was so good. It was so good. It goes on for a little bit. Do you think? Just hear me out on this. Do you think Bran would be my friend?
I think it's easy to become friends once you get to know each other. We'll have to get him to know each other.
So what should I do to make Bran my friend? He likes to cook. Do you think we could like make him something, and then like maybe like we can make him something, and then when he eats it, we're like, oh, who made this? And you'll say, oh, Moontree made that, and you'll be like, really? That's really cool. Maybe I should be friends with that guy. Do you think that would work?
I think that could be a start. Bran's a pretty hard-headed guy. He makes when you're friends with Bran, that means he really, really trusts you. So it might take a few steps, but I think that's a good start. What would you want to cook him? What kind of food do you think he might like?
I don't know. What does he like?
Well, I know he likes to cook a lot of things that have meat in them, but who doesn't love meat?
Yeah. Well, I think he has like sausage or something. He's got a thing for sausage. I don't know where he gets it, but he's like lots of sausage. I don't know. That's kind of weird, but that's okay. I think it's okay.
That comes from his bag of holding. A lot of sausage in there. Maybe not sausage. I think he's a little too used to sausage. But maybe one day we'll go hunting for something different, and then cook that up, some different animal.
I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you look over there? Is he? Can you move a little bit so can we see him?
And she sits up. She sits back and puts her hand. She tries to be. Well, they're all settled in for the night. She kind of tries to be a little covert about it. As she moves Moontree to see Bran clearer.
There he is. Yeah. Hey. Okay. Hear me out. Okay. What if you go put me on his hand while he's sleeping?
Oh, see, I don't think that he would appreciate that. People don't like being tricked.
Then I can wake him up. No, it's not a trick. I'll be just like, hello, hi, my name's Moontree. I like to be an adventurer just like you. And can we be friends? And then that'd be great, cause then like he'll talk to me and stuff. Cause that'd be like really cool.
Well, the problem is, if Bran gets surprised while he's sleeping, he's not always himself. He might accidentally, and he wouldn't mean it
But
at
you
all.
don't understand. I really want to be with Bran because he's really, really cool. Did you see how big he got? He was like so cool, and it was so big. And
She
I really
pats
want
Moontree on the back.
don't. Is there what? I really need to be with Bran. Okay, I really just need to be with Bran. Can we just go over there? Can we talk to him?
Not while he's sleeping, I'm afraid. Here, how about this? I like your plan, and as you know, I use my brain a lot, so we'll make this work somehow. Not tonight, but we'll make it work. How about you get some rest then? You helped me a lot with this watch.
But I don't want to go back to sleep. I don't want to go back to sleep anymore.
You can stay up, but we can't go over to Bran just yet. I promise you wouldn't like it if we just slipped on his hand.
Hold on.
Is he still fussing?
Yeah, he's definitely still fussing. I need you to make a wisdom save. I really need to go over to Bran.
No.
Oh dear.
May I remind you that Boltzmann's still tinkering with his gear.
You don't need 2 hands to cast spells, do you?
No, you
Wisdom
don't.
save?
Dante, I'll help there, don't
Oh, if
worry.
only-
Make a wisdom
Dramatic
save.
spells.
If only we had taken a long rest, I would have my portends back. Oh my god, is the net
Oh my
one?
god. Oh my god. Good lord.
Here we go. Here we
Oh,
go.
Alright, here we go.
God, this is awesome.
And as he says this, I need to go see Bran. You are now considered charmed.
Oh dear. And here
Uh,
I thought we were
Very
finally be
tempered
friends with the
tantrum.
party.
Oh, your friends are
it is charmed until you have the spell ends. Conditions charmed. Charmed creature can attack the charmer, and the charmer has advantage on ability checks with it.
We are the Borg.
So yes, you
We are needed.
feel an overwhelming desire to be able to placate Moontree by introducing Bran or putting Moontree on Bran.
Gosh, I hate when Professor Vormund is right and I don't listen to him. Or everybody.
Furious German cursing.
That bleeds into like French, which
The orb
bleeds
is just like
into-
rolling around.
It's the scene from the Hitler movie. Nine.
What was it? Downfall. Was it?
Mein Führer.
Downfall.
Mein Leben.
Now, is she charmed in a way that is she compelled in a way to do it that Moontree wants, or just any way that she could think of?
You feel compelled to placate him, and he says that he wants to be with Bran. So you feel the need to be able to either talk to Bran with Moontree on, or put Moontree on Bran's hand.
Okay. She kind of like sits up straight as he yells in her ear or in her head. She like goes like bolt straight. And she says, "Of course, Moontree. It would be ridiculous not to." And she gets up and goes over. She looks over at Bran. And then she goes into her bag and she takes out Kennedy's journal and she holds that with her. And then she gently goes over to Bran and she's never there's like an awkward like a weird back and forth because she's like, I don't really feel comfortable doing this, but I need to do this. And so she's like working up the courage to just kind of tap his shoulder. It's probably too gentle at first, and then to tap it a little bit harder to see if he'll wake up. Brandon Mayer.
Yeah, wake him up.
Brandon Mayer.
Boltzmann? Boltzmann would be... Does Boltzmann notice this?
Does
Roll-
he
roll-
see Emmy go into Bran's tent?
Yeah, exactly.
Roll a Constitution.
Oh
roll a
my
Constitution check.
God.
If it's a 10 or above, you're still awake.
I'm sorry. That was directed at me or at
No, that was
Boltzmann?
directed at
Boltzmann.
Boltzmann to see if
Okay.
Oh, you know damn well that this
A
is
natural one.
gonna be healthy. All right.
Okay.
Ah,
So
there
yeah,
you
you are aware of the situation. You do see Emmy. Roll a perception check.
Please
If you
spot
see
the
them-
puppet.
If,
Spot the
if you
puppet.
see the puppet on her hand as she goes over to Bran's tent.
mean, you
This is
still-
so awkward.
And
Okay. So by the firelight, you are able to make out that she is holding her hand upright, and on it is this purple dragon. and she is now walking over to Brand.
Emmy, what are you doing?
Oh. Shh. Wake everybody up.
Why do you have that puppet inside? Why are you putting on that?
Oh,
Boltzmann,
Alexander. Shush.
Boltzmann
How did you
is already already raising his arcane fire.
He's gonna ruin it for us.
Bran, Camael!
Hold on. Alexander. I think, first of all, before you start making stuff
Bran!
like this...
Camael!
Oh my gosh, Alexander!
I will scream.
Boltzmann! Shush! Dante's over the side near the fire, just like with his hat over his face, just like, keep quiet. I'm trying to sleep.
Okay,
The
quick.
puppet!
Is it anyone's business if I have a question and I want to speak to someone else in our group? Why does that matter?
Quick question. Where is Branimir right now? Like, where is he sleeping?
You said he was in a tent.
We've always been under the assumption, though. I was
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
assumption that Boltzmann would pitch up his tent close to Brand's.
Okay, so
I
when
mean, that's always how it is. I'm sorry.
when Boltzmann yells out Camael, does Camael hear this? What do I have to roll for that? Do I have to roll for anything?
Same.
Yeah, let's do that. Constitution check above a 10, then you're awake.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
It is the beginning of the night because she'd only just recently spoken to Professor Foreman and then she was going to go on her watch.
God damn it, Emmy.
It is a 13.
God damn it. 21. Oh boy.
Yeah, you both
Oh my
of you,
God.
are awakened or were drifting off just as Boltzmann begins.
And
Igniting
screaming like a
amplifier.
little bitch. Screaming like a little bitch.
Scream. Emmy, stop or I will scream.
Oh, now you owe me double, Alexander.
No,
Don't you
this isn't
dare
gonna
you
work.
threaten.
This isn't.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
Mm,
I know, it's okay.
I just
And she's,
wanted
like,
something
patting-
brand.
She's like patting her hand, which is patting his back.
Boltzmann, no, can you hear this conversation between these
No,
two?
it's a one-sided conversation.
No.
She is the only one that
Okay,
hears.
she's- and you're
So she
talking
looks
to that
ignorant.
puppet. he's really.
His mind.
Boltzmann has seen shit today, my guy. He's seen illithids again.
He is
Alright.
scarred.
And now this?
What a time
this?
he saw some built-in. Done for the day.
Fucking patting the head of a puppet dragon.
That's having a tantrum in her hand.
In her
Exactly.
head. She's just like, here's a child screaming in her head
Yeah.
while also being yelled at by an adult acting like a child who's now waking everybody else
Excuse
up.
me.
They're all gonna start yelling.
Acting like a child. I've seen things. No, wait. I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean to say that in character.
You don't know me.
That was supposed to be out of character. Yeah. But yeah, Boltzmann is just trying to. Yeah, he's just trying to wake up Bran and Camael.
Okay, Camael
Which
is
both are
awake.
awake.
Yeah, she is awake and she will immediately run to the location.
And you will see Boltzmann already pointing his arcane firearm at the puppet.
Ooh, and like
At the
almost
puppet.
instinctively, Emmy's hand is raised. Like almost instinctively, Emmy's hand is raised, like in a defensive, like she's prepared to cast like a reactionary spell or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
don't
What?
lift a weapon at me, sir.
It's the puppet is already in her hand, my guy. I don't like this.
Other
Not
hand.
one
She
bit.
has a free hand.
Yeah, she has a free hand. Yeah,
One
exactly.
bit.
Yeah, Bran would have like came out of his
Wait,
tent.
I
like, almost
thought she
headbutted.
had Kennedy's journal in her other hand.
She did.
Oh yeah. Oh, she has. Yeah. And
We tucked
Damn
her
it.
underneath
under her
her arm.
arm, whatever.
What the hell
How
is
is it?
going on? I'm trying to sleep.
We're all trying to sleep. Alexander must have had a bad dream or something.
What
What
are
is
you doing with
going
the
on?
puppet? Why are you pointing a gun at her? Why are you pointing your finger at him?
Whoa!
What is going on?
Boy,
All I had was an
puppet.
apple tonight, and I'm hungry.
Wait, everyone, just wait a minute, would you please? Just
Emmy?
a minute. Yes,
This isn't
just-
working right.
Just answer the question. What are you doing? And Boltzmann, put it down.
I was just going to ask Branimir a quick question. And Alexander lost his cool.
Would Bran have been able to step out of his tent at this point?
I don't know about you, my guy.
Because if he is, I assume
She's like holding Moontree to her. Because obviously he's on her hand, but like she's like holding him like to her.
Emmy, is that puppet on your hand?
You're damn right it is.
How else am I supposed to talk to him? We were having a conversation, a very polite and civilized conversation. And then I had a question for Branimir.
You could talk to him before. You didn't have. You were talking to him before. You didn't have to put your hand in there.
Well, I always had to put my hand in it.
What? Can you take your hand out?
Yes.
No, you can't.
Nobody
Okay.
knows that, DM. Nobody knows that, DM.
Take your hand out. Of
You
the
say
puppet.
you say you can, but as
Yeah.
You can't.
do you
because
try
it's a charm.
do you try to
that's
take your
right.
hand up? Do you try
Oh.
to take your hand up?
No, she doesn't try. She just assumes that she can.
Okay.
She's just saying because she's assuming.
So you're telling me
Like,
that every
yes.
time you spoke to that puppet, you had to put that on your hand?
Yes, that's how I heard him.
Can you take it off your hand now for us, please? Just so we don't just so we all feel comfortable. We saw what happened to the
I
barkeep.
don't want to be off your hand. I want to stay on your hand right now.
She looks at Moontree. It's like, it's not my hand. You know what you're looking for. Remember, we're making this work. Just hold on a minute.
Who are you talking to? Are you talking to me or are you talking to the puppet?
How are you talking to that puppet?
All right, everyone, just calm down.
Thank you. She's probably like, I didn't think I'd be agreeing with her, but thank you.
It's just a puppet.
It is, but
So,
we know it.
What the hell is Brad?
The guy's hand, he had the hand was
Waiting for his turn to
missing.
speak.
Camael, the hand was missing. We know that there's something's going on there. So if she could just put the puppet away for a while, so we can talk about this. Can you please, Emmy, put the puppet away so we can talk about this?
This is nothing that we need to talk about now anyway.
I feel
this is
like
just
that-
a question I had
I
for
just
Brady.
wanna
He
know
was
what
just
a
pointing a
brand.
gun at you. You were just pointing a finger at him.
How am I supposed to respond when someone raises a weapon at me? And she's like instinctively just like patting. She doesn't even realize she's just instinctively like patting Moontree like to comfort, even though they can't hear him groaning.
Bran? She just calls Branimir because she doesn't know what to do at this
Emmy,
point.
Brandon stood outside the tent.
Can I come out of the tent?
Yeah, you're out of the tent. What are you doing?
butt naked.
I didn't mean for this to be a side quest, guy.
Yeah, so exiting his tent, he would, I think, in the, at least the urgency that Boltzmann was giving, I think he would have like rushed out of his tent, but in doing so, I think he might have like ran straight into Emmy, like kind of bumped into her. Would he be able, judging from the distance, would he be able to see that Moontree is on her hand, or would that be a?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's not hiding it.
That's pretty
She's got her
obvious now.
hand up. Only because Boltzmann was at a little bit of a distance, but you're right next to her, so yeah, no problem.
He's like
Is it-
he's like by her shoulder, like you would like with a cat over your shoulder.
Is it clear that she was trying to enter his tent?
To
Yeah, you
Boltzmann.
heard her outside, and she's right outside your door right now.
And Boltzmann would have probably furiously.
And you would
yeah.
you would have heard the conversation between Boltzmann and her saying, "I just wanted to go ask Bran a question."
Why is the puppet on the hand?
I know, right?
Because we were having a conversation while I was taking the first watch after a very long day, mind you, and y'all were sleeping or getting ready for sleep, so I was just chit chatting.
I mean, you know what happens when Moontree gets on a hand.
I've taken him off my hand before. We were just having a conversation. My hand is still here, I promise.
Take it off now. Brent, tell her to take it off now.
What does it matter?
I feel like he's watching me.
It was done.
All
Please,
right. So she turns his head. Now he's not watching you. Happy?
I don't care about him anyway. He's stupid. I want to talk to Branimir.
Oh god.
Hey, if you want to be friends, you got to be nice to all of our friends.
All he does is run around really quick. He doesn't even get involved. And Branimir's got so... Did you see him? He was 15 feet tall the other day. He was freaking huge. It was so cool.
I know, it was very cool.
Hey,
was
you
a one-time
talking to
thing.
yourself? It's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
I don't
She's
mind
talking to
though.
that puppet.
I don't mind getting ill.
Boltzmann,
I already know where they're
come,
going.
Boltzmann, please,
I've
come,
been
calm
through this.
down.
Exactly.
Calm down. Do you need a hug? Calm
His
down.
eyes are bloodshot. His hands are somewhat shaking.
I think you need to go to
Foaming at the
sleep.
mouth.
He's just watching all of them go around.
It's like wiping,
You're not you when you're hungry and sleepy, my guy.
wiping the saliva off your face. Go calm down.
Doesn't have dinner either.
Yeah.
Not you when the sentient puppet charms you.
Hey, this is what happens when you don't have dinner.
Exactly.
what happened.
Bran. Thank you, Brad.
Exactly.
An
Please,
apple.
just one
Watching
person at
all
the...
of this.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Saoirse. Sorry.
I was gonna say, watching all of this, Saoirse, I think, is gonna try to sneak up. Yeah, she's been listening and watching Emmy talking to herself, or what it looks like talking to herself while looking at the puppet. She's gonna try and take the puppet off of Emmy's hand, sneak up on her, and take the puppet off her hand.
Okay. Roll first a stealth check. So a stealth versus perception. So Amy, roll a perception. Saoirse, roll a stealth check.
They have advantage on
20.
stealth.
25.
Oh man,
Hells yeah.
I wasn't
So,
expecting
okay,
to be
you are
that.
able to sneak up on her and you get behind her and you grab at the puppet. Now roll a strength versus strength. Emmy's strength versus Saoirse's strength.
My strength is a -1.
Hers is only a 0, so
Ah,
Well,
yeah, I rolled a
Well,
2.
Saoirse, you are able to snatch the puppet and it is now in your hand. Emmy, you have awakened and you realize that you were under his influence and that you were doing as he requested, even though you knew that that was not the right thing to do.
as soon as that happens, Boltzmann, somewhat even what do you call this? He just tosses his gun down on his weapon down onto the floor and rushes towards Saoirse with a puppet.
I kind of want to make you roll just to see if that went off when you threw it, but that's all right. Go ahead.
And he just
That'd be
runs
bad.
out. He just runs off to it. Saoirse, give it to me.
Yeah, here you go. I
He's just
figured
kind of
that
staring at her hand.
better than me trying to remove her hand.
And yeah, with that, Boltzmann takes it, and he casts Mage Hand to not actually make contact with it. And he hovers it over the fire.
Give
the
it back.
camp.
Don't you dare!
Just throw it in.
Boltzmann?
Don't you dare!
What went on there? I think you were talking to this thing. What was going on?
Yes. Oh. First of all, that was rude. Second of all, if you would just wait half a minute and stop screaming like a little girl, maybe I could explain.
As you say that, he lowers it slightly even to the fire. And
As he does
I
that,
want
her
to trust
her-
you.
her finger goes up like she's pointing directly at him. Stop.
Camael gets into the line just in front of Emmy. Both of you need to calm down.
We don't go around hurting innocents, right? Right? That's what I came to believe, anyway.
Yes, that is true, but
Was
First
the
of all-
puppet making you do something?
a good question.
Okay. I was inclined to help. Yes. Okay, just hold on a moment. And she pulls out Kennedy's journal, and she is frantically flipping through it to find the page. She finds it and then she just sticks it out in front of her. This is not what it appears to be. All right.
So I'll read. So as you guys, if you guys, Boltzmann, are you holding the puppet?
I'm not. Boltzmann is not holding the puppet. He's levitating it.
Okay,
He's a mage
levitating
hand.
the puppet, but it's
And-
not dropping into the fire at this
No,
moment.
not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so as she shoves the book towards you, you read this. It's from Kennedy, so it's from the witch that you had seen before, and you had seen previously passages about the werewolf and her being able to mess with the creature to engineer something more. This passage is talking about, it says, facing certain death from an ever-debilitating pox, a man named Sigrid came to me seeking soul transference into a local... a man named Sigurd came to me seeking soul transference into a local poor simpleton. Although my research into the essence transfer is not fully complete, it is an option for this new candidate. Goldenhammer's son, my first experiment of this type, many, many years ago, was quite young, which made the procedure far less complex than the 60-something-year-old that Sigurd is, a risk that I'm willing to take. And then there was the question of what to do with the existing soul. Simpleton or not, a soul must go somewhere. Perhaps a tribute to an archfey may do me well, but which one was vain enough to be happy with a gift but not upset at the quality? Decision.
Soul transference. Ooh, that's really. Is it okay, Bruce, if I had to? If you would post that on the campaign handouts as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. And soul transference.
Now, can you get him away from the fire?
Boltzmann lifts that up. Boltzmann lifts him up no longer just close to the fire, levitating behind, just behind him, above and behind him. Interesting.
It's in campaign handout.
If you're just,
Thank you.
if you're so disgusted, thank you. If you're so disgusted by something that ain't quite like you, then maybe give him back to someone who cares.
Why not like the gods? And Boltzmann just takes a deep breath. Why? All right. First thing, why'd you have to keep this from us from the very last minute?
Because y'all weren't listening anyway, and you didn't trust me enough to hear me out. You just said, oh, she's talking to herself. She's talking to herself. I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to him.
Boltzmann, you can see him grit his teeth. His hands are clenched. You know he wants to say something, but he doesn't know how to say it. And
Well, do you return him?
under one
Not
condition.
you, he wants to know anyway. Honestly. Me neither, but at least it's the start.
Mhm. He just looks towards first Bran, then Camael. Are they having any other reactions to this?
Camael, she's very torn. But she looks at Emmy, and then she looks at Bran and then back at Emmy, and then she just says, Now, I have nothing against that puppet. Everyone else seems to not like it, but I have no opinions on it. But can you explain to me your fixation on talking to Branimir? Maybe, perhaps.
I wouldn't say fixation. That might be a bit extreme, but he really wants to. Look, he's a young boy. As far as I can understand, if I'm understanding this correctly, he's a young boy who admired his father, who was a great adventurer, and he wanted to be a great adventurer himself. He wants to know great adventurers, and he wanted to know Brandomir. Or you. But he was really impressed with Brandomir. He just
Why
wanted
did you
to know
just
him.
say that to us, everybody, right away? At least
Because you weren't
I would have
listening.
understood that.
You wouldn't understand anything. You're
How
too...
would you know?
All right, enough.
I already tried to have a conversation with you, and you were so quick to interrupt and blame me for a conversation someone else interrupted, and you never apologized either, mind you.
All right.
Wait, as a player, wait, when did that happen? I'm sorry.
When we were in the cave going up the mountain, when
Uh-huh.
Camael and Emmy were still kind of at each other's throats, Emmy had gone to Boltzmann to talk about the ice thing that they had both taken a piece of and were talking about it. And then Camael had said something, and so she said something that was snippy to Emmy. Emmy said something snippy back and only kind of reprimanded Emmy about it. And she got very upset.
Yeah. Okay, now thank you. Now I remember that. But yeah.
No problem.
But yeah,
Hard to keep track of all the drama here.
thank you.
Tracks all drama, none of the plot.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. Boltzmann hovers at now just slightly just beside his head, the puppet. See, we never had a conversation about predicament about this puppet, a proper one, at least. Now that both of us knows, or at least I know about what's going on in here. All right. And he pauses for a bit, trying. It's like he's thinking about what words are going to come out of his mouth. All right. I'll trust you with this one. But just to make sure everything goes smoothly, let me know whenever you're going to have a conference. You're going to put this thing on, and whenever it wants to have a conversation with anybody. He's saying this as he looks. He's saying this while he's looking straight into your eyes, Emmy. But then, as he says, "conversation with anybody," it's like he's like he quickly shoots a glance over at Bran, as if like trying to catch Bran's reaction to this.
So you're my father now, and I need to ask your permission.
Ask you.
Emmy, what
This-
Boltzmann is trying to say is that we need a little bit of trust in this group, and you are not displaying that.
This is an exercise in safety as well, Emmy. So please, as I've said, I want to trust you. Okay? Because if anything, you're the only person who understands whatever arcane things are going on in here, in this group, other than me. I want at least somebody to share the same, at least be familiar with things that I see. Okay? You can see that his hands, he's now crossing his hands because, and despite that, you can see his hands trembling, and
She's kind of tight-lipped at first while he's talking, and then especially after what Bran says. She seems to soften a little bit at the sort of like pleading, explanatory, kind of the finding common ground element of it, and sort of not saving face, but you know what I mean. She kind of rolls her eyes and holds her hand out. She says, sure, of course. Look, you already know as much as I know at this point. I know what Kennedy's journal says, and I know what Moontree's told me. He's an adventurer at heart. He's a child at heart. And I do not I don't want him or anyone else just thrown away, thrown aside because of misunderstandings or not wanting to get to the bottom of it. It's not right. No one deserves that. No one at all.
I hate to interject. But with your permission, may I speak to this puppet child thing? Do I have to wear him, or can I just hold him and have a conversation?
You would have to put the puppet on your hand. Yeah, I know.
And shoots a glance at Camael.
I'm doing it. I'm talking to it. She looks at Bran and Boltzmann.
So
Hey, here we
there's immediately a look of concern on Boltzmann's face.
Even
Bran almost looks
even
hostile.
Emmy has a small
at
look
this
of
point.
concern.
He actually approaches Camael. He stomps up towards her, and he
Boltzmann
looks
still
down
has-
at her.
Boltzmann still has the puppet levitating just close to his, right beside his head.
Bran, it's her choice. Don't be like that.
You heard Emmy. The puppet wanted either Camael or I. And we're giving it to him.
Camael just looks down. She doesn't even look up. She can just feel this heat on her side. It's a child.
We've seen what happened.
You sure you have to put it on? Are you sure she has to put it on?
I'm pretty sure, but you're welcome to try. That's all part of science and learning. Experiment.
Boltzmann crosses his arms and he screws his eyes shut, trying to remember if he's read anything about. There's been a mention of essence transference in the journal page. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Does he recall reading anything about it, or is this like a new, or is this just like something new to him completely?
Roll an arcane check.
How's
Arcana
that?
check.
Hey.
Does it help? Does it help that there is in fact a spell called Life Transferent, which involves transferring, technically involves transferring health? Like,
Yeah.
technically speaking, would that also be some kind of knowledge base?
Well, health
25.
and it's less life energy transference and actually copying of a soul and a memory.
Okay.
Which is
I didn't know if it was like here's a basis of literally like here's the algebra and then here's trigonometry, like a stepping stone.
But with a
25,
25 arcana.
Ooh.
Yeah, the concept of it has always been theoretical.
Yeah.
And it's always talked about as these mad scientist types that do these types of things. Never in studied culture, never in studied true civil arcana.
No
arcana.
actual study about it. Just
the ethics
just
are always have been questionable enough where legitimate wizards with status and stature would not be considering this. But you also know that the Ama government has also thought about these things. And privately have considered and perhaps done research in these directions. But an actual working model and understanding is not within your understanding or not within what you have privy to.
Okay. Life transference, essence transference, life transference. I mean, life energy, the transference of him. It's like he's mumbling to himself. And then he speaks up, and he speaks up a bit more. Life energy transference, it can be done. It's almost a somewhat common spell, but transferring souls, that's something that only mad scientists would search for. That's something that we've always thought that it was just a theory, but this. He gestures towards the puppet. The owner, I guess? Was it? He looks towards you, Emmy. Was it the original owner? Managed to do it. This is groundbreaking magic here. This is it's extremely important, and as
And
much
you were
as I,
gonna burn it.
because of course, didn't know what can do, but now that we know that everything's been explained properly, at least.
Keep
Thank you
explaining.
very
that point.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And so the thing is, we still don't know how the soul transference works. Does it just slowly siphon off, just slowly transfer the souls upon prolonged contact? Does it do this and that? And he just now starts once again, his words devolve into mumblings. His words fail him.
Boltzmann spirals.
Yeah, it's Boltzmann. It's another Boltzmann spiral where his mouth cannot catch up with his thoughts.
Boltzmann, slow
What I'm
down.
saying is,
Slow down.
what I'm saying is, I would love to see more of this, but then we have to be extremely careful with this because this is uncharted territory, as far as I know. As far as does Professor Vormir know anything about this?
His expertise tends to lie in ancient creatures and history. He might. I can always ask, but I can tell you right now that, well, a couple of things. One, I don't feel any weaker for having known him, and I've put Moontree on my hand a number of times. So it's clearly not, well, if nothing is active, I suppose. But I can't imagine it would be over such a prolonged period of time, in that if this actually is Goldenhammer's son, he's very young. How much time would such a spell need? Drastic as it is, this seems to me it could have happened relatively immediately for his young age. And she has her own theories that she starts to kind of go through.
And then Boltzmann just nods at every point given. He listens. He's listening intently to what Emmy is saying.
I'm going back to bed.
But like I
Dante,
said, I don't feel any weaker for it. But and then she looks at Camael. She's like, "It's up to you. I can't make you." And I realize, and if you want full disclosure, fine. Yes, I was not entirely at first convinced to go over to Brandomir and speak to him, but Moontree started acting up, and suddenly I was incredibly compelled to want to go over there. So there's something going on, but I'll tell you that much before you decide
given that
whether or not you want to talk
information,
to
you
him.
can now. Oh, sorry. Oh, my internet lagged out on me. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. And now, having been told about this as well, Emmy, that you've mentioned being practically charmed under Moontree, you can now see that Boltzmann's jaw clench, but you've been charmed.
I wasn't going to use such scary words, but perhaps.
He exhales. Bran, do you know anything about? Do you know any spells that would counteract a charm of sorts? At least, I think. Haven't we done that before? He just looks towards Bran, looking for if he'd give an answer to that.
Out of character, I do believe that was a curse.
Oh, that was a curse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But unless we're sure what kind of designation the spell is. Yeah.
But still, sorry, wait. But still, Boltzmann would consider it. Well, because now, Emmy, you've given us that information. We have at least one lead. Moontree can charm, at least some sort of, exert some sort of control over whomever wears it. That, at least, I think we have.
Emmy, roll an Arcana check while
Sure.
Boltzmann's speaking.
Well, Boltzmann's having another Boltzmann spiral.
Because you're going to say charming someone, I feel that's relatively rudimentary as far as arcane magic
Ooh,
goes.
nice.
So with a 22, you definitely know that you were affected by a spell. So anything that would stop a spell of any kind would be able
Yeah.
to block
Ooh.
this charm.
So a dispel, and she just throws that out there. You know, dispel magic is easy enough to throw. It's just once
then-
it's only as it's happening, and it's no longer happening.
With the
then
20, 22, yeah, 22 would know. You would know that dispel magic would only dispel an item, not a spell. If you had
sorry.
counterspell, you could counterspell.
That one, that's the one I meant,
There we
which
go.
I do.
But then,
He does
yeah,
have
despite saying that, dispel magic, but wouldn't we run the risk of dispelling? No. And he's about to say dispelling the thing that's holding in the soul, but no. I think you have better control than that, right? Right?
I do, certainly. And at the same time, whatever can transfer a soul, I don't know that's probably 1 or 2 levels above my own comfortable. She's very careful with her words. My own comfortable frame of strength, of understanding.
Not,
That's a pretty powerful spell. It's got to be.
not at this point. Boltzmann is just rubbing his chin. Now you can see that Boltzmann's hands are no longer trembling. Bran? Now you say that.
Cam.
No. Seeing how Camael is rather more open to this, Boltzmann shifts his focus towards Bran. Seeing, I think we can control this to a certain extent. Well, if worst comes to worst, you can always just yank it out off of her hand. I say we should give this. We should see where this goes.
You see this look on Bran's face, and it is not one you've seen often, but Bran is actually has a face of disgust on it especially after Emmy's revelation involving Moontree's origin in the journal.
I just want to hear what this thing has to say. Please.
Breaking up there.
Yeah,
Ooh.
there's like some mic interference on your end.
Hello?
Bolts.
Mic test.
It's
There
like
we go.
I think it's like a loose cable.
Oh no.
Wire. Yeah, it kind of scratchy. But yes,
There we go.
Bran. It's still there.
Oh no. Go on.
Go on without me.
But yes, Bran has a face of disgust, especially after it just even more solidifies into disbelief as he's listening to Boltzmann and Emmy's back and forth about, like, groundbreaking magical sciences and all that. Like, he's just looking almost slack-jawed from one to another as he hears them pretty much babble about their breakthroughs in science, when in fact in his mind this is a soul that we're talking about here. This is something that Bran, who is not experienced with at least magic in a sense where he was born with it, but rather he acquired it only recently. But to him, this is something that is not at all fascinating to him. He finds this just abhorrent. So he, at the mention of his name, Bran just looks at Boltzmann with this 1,000-yard stare, and he just shakes his head. This ain't right, Bolts. There's nothing fascinating about this.
All right. So, okay. So this is the long-term plan that's going in through my head with this. All right, hear me out, Brad. Is it okay? He waits for.
Oh, Bran just nods.
Just don't
All right.
hurt him.
Here's the thing: if we could, this puppet here, it was able to capture. Gods, no, not capture. Contain the soul of somebody. What if we could find out how that thing works, and maybe we could use it against, he he's not really sure in what name what name to actually use for that. Whatever they're fighting at this point, he wants to, you can see that the queen, whatever we're fighting, and Boltzmann's just now not really sure what name to use for whatever you guys we're fighting at this point.
I'm not arguing with the fact that we need to release the child that is within Moontree. That needs to happen. I'm just disgusted by this. This whole thing. This use of magic. It's perverted, Boltzmann. It is unrestrained. And I cannot believe there are people that would do something like this.
There are actual bad people in the world. Whether they didn't learn right or they got something wrong in their own heads. Actual bad people, not people that we just see, get scared of, and then judge.
The same fire that warms a house can also burn it down?
Yes.
If that makes any sense, at least, Bran. He's still looking at you, trying. You can see in Boltzmann's eyes that he does understand where you're coming from with this, and actually, you can now see that there's a bit of you can now see that he's also kind of conflicted with this, seeing how you react to this sort of magic.
Yeah.
I do promise you, Brandon, we will never use it for any wrong anything. We just want to understand how this works, so we could probably even keep it from happening. Oh. Boltzmann, yeah. He once again he tries to speak. No words come out of his mouth.
Bran just pinches the bridge of his nose as he just kind of takes his free hand and brushes it through his hair. I want to know who did this. Does it say anything in that journal? Who conducted this experiment?
Kennedy. She was the one practicing. She was already looking into it. Someone came to her for help. Well, it sounds like Goldenhammer came to her for help. And she decided to play God. We've already handled that, haven't we?
And this is all experimental.
Yes. I don't know. I know a lot, and I don't know this one.
There seems to be a bit of comfort knowing that, or at least possibly knowing that this isn't widely practiced, and that this is possibly the only research notes that are, the only research notes that are available.
But if we can reverse engineer it, essentially, maybe we can get him out.
And that's all I care about.
And
we will not be using this.
Roll a history check, Bran.
Oh, okay. History check.
Yeah, boy.
Oh my god, what is history? Alright, let's see. There's a 20.
Nice.
So your memory is that this was the journal. This was the current book that Kennedy was using to note down, and from what you've seen from the pages of talking about the werewolf and talking about the what she's shown you now, you know that this was one book, but your memory serves you that there was a lot of research, there was a lot of papers there were a lot of books that wasn't enough to be able to bring, so everything is still in that location.
Ooh.
And with that, Bran, just his eyes narrow again, and that look of disgust appears on his face, and his fingers clench as he realizes, God damn it, there's more! We left them back at the cabin.
I mean, it's
wait.
an isolated cabin. I'm sure there aren't many people just traveling by, taking up old witch hag's books. Right?
We found it.
Yes. But who knows? Besides, there's nothing we can do about it right now. Right? One step at a time. Let's start with not burning the puppet and being kind, because there is in fact a little boy in there who just wants to be your friend. No, doesn't have to be your friend right this moment, Branch. She's like quickly adds as an aside, and then looks back at Boltzmann, who's hovering the puppet. And she's like gesturing.
At this point, Boltzmann's already grabbed the puppet and is now physically holding it.
She gestures to have him returned to her. If I may.
He looks at the puppet one more time. All right. And he hands it over to Emmy.
Thank you.
Boltzmann now just looks at Bran one more time. He's now just trying to see what your reaction to all of this is.
Bran just looks very resigned at this point. Just the realization that there are possibly still more notes on the research or the experiment itself still out there, and possibly could fall into either the right hands or the wrong hands, and just the fact that he doesn't know for sure, it's kind of driving him mad at this point, and so he avoids eye contact with Boltzmann and just rolls his shoulders and then begins to walk off. I can't rent now, Bolts.
It's late. It's late. I'm supposed to be watching. Y'all are supposed to be sleeping. This wasn't meant to be a whole incident. It was just, all right. We can let him rest. Everyone can just rest.
We should all rest. Let's try this again, or at least try to talk about this more tomorrow morning.
And Boltzmann pinches the the bridge of his nose, and he pats his sides, and he realizes that his weapon is still on the ground, and he just uses Mage Hand to pull it up towards him. All right, let's all rest.
So as the tensions diffuse and everyone goes back eventually to their spaces, unless you had something else. Boltzmann.
Yeah, and Boltzmann, as he passes through Emmy, going towards his tent, he stops for a bit, and Emmy. He turns around, looks towards you. I'm sorry with how I acted, but I also want to at least, I'd want you to, be more forth with these sorts of things, and he pauses for a bit, and I want to know more about these things with you, okay? And, he pauses for a bit, just realizing that word salad that came out of his mouth. He looks, and he now just looks towards you, trying to gauge if you got the point of what he's trying to say.
She's raising an eyebrow at him, and then kind of can't help but like giggle a little bit. Well, we'll have to determine whether or not that's just general knowledge you want, or you want to have shared knowledge. You talk too much. Go to bed. And she goes back to her. She goes back to her spot where she was doing her watch, and she puts Moontree back into her belt, not onto her hand, and instead holds Professor Vormund in her lap. She continues her watch. And she kind of whispers a quick, "Sorry, Moontree," and then she goes back to her watch.
Camael will actually approach Branimir's tent after just standing there in silence and listening to everyone talk. And she'll peek into his tent and look at him and be like, Branimir.
Bran is currently hot-faced and crisscrossed on his tent, and Addie is curled up next to his leg, trying her best to like almost as if Addie could sense his turmoil. She's just trying her best to curl up next to
him. This was a very awkward evening. A lady just tried to make her way into your tent. She grins.
There's a second one.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at her dully for a minute, like she's not taking it. She's not getting the hint as she always does. So he sighs. It's a deep, heavy sigh. How can I help you, Cam?
Well, I would like to keep you company tonight. I would like to sleep with you tonight.
Bran was already hot-faced from the situation before, but even now he is probably a radish
He
at this
probably
point.
hear this, and he just turns around, covers his ears.
Wait, who are the very keen-eared individuals of this group?
And he's literally keeping watch.
What the hell? What the hell is this night, everybody?
Oh, there's no way I'm asleep. You guys won't shut up.
Plot? What plot?
Dante's just gonna be pissed the whole day tomorrow. I swear to God.
Dante hears all of this.
Hey, blame the DM. There's no dinner. I can only do it once.
We're not
Only
asking our-
3-course meals for our
You could have
group.
given me a bloody sausage.
None of this would happen if you just cooked the sausage.
He said RP for
28
5 minutes. I'll
perception.
be right back until we RP'd for 2 hours.
28 perception, Dante. 28 perception. Yeah, did I hear that? Did I hear that?
Yeah, I
Bloody
think
dude.
Oh my god.
Well,
Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cam.
I would like to share your bed.
Bran just like quickly, almost instinctively, like stands up, attempts to stand up, but he ends up just like bumping his head on the top of the tent. Cam, this is this is a little forward.
Yeah?
Don't you?
Uh-huh.
This is.
Yes?
I'm sorry. What are you trying to do here?
I'm
'Cause he-
trying to sleep with you.
I'm not gonna lie. This is also getting the player off a little bit. Like, what? How do I?
Getting the player
I
off?
bet it is. I bet it is.
Wait.
This went way
How
off
do I?
track.
How do I respond to this?
Camael's just there on all fours, ready to crawl in.
Bran is Bran is like, yeah. Seeing her like crawl
okay.
in on all fours, Bran is just kind of like putting a stop motion. Like, oh, okay, all right, Cam. Okay, let's
she
talk
stops.
about this. Let's talk about this.
What?
Is this another one of your Camael talks? Do you mean something else?
Well, if I talk in my sleep, then yes. But I don't know.
No. Is this one of those things where you mean to say something else? I think we've been traveling long enough to know that you don't understand certain things.
What? I could just leave. I want to share your bed. It's a big bed. It's a big tent. There's a lot of things you can do in here.
It's actually not that large, Cam. It's actually quite snug.
Well, it'll be a very snug sleep then.
Cam, I understand that you are not well versed in Don't make me look at that gift. God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, okay, for context for the audience, Moose is sending some goofy Austin Powers crap on us.
Don't
God damn it.
divert.
What
Don't
from
divert.
Austin Powers? Come on.
Answer the question.
I mean, we can talk outside, Cam. We can talk outside.
But I don't want to talk. I want to sleep. It's late. It's cold outside. I want to be warm.
Oh God, Dante's gonna yell out from where he's laying down. She does it all the time, Bran. She just wants to snuggle. Just go to sleep. You're not getting any.
Bran just shouts back, "I'm just trying to clarify, Dante."
It's what he wants. Just go to sleep.
Why?
Never
What
getting
did
any
you?
sleep tonight? Why am I even
Poor
keeping watch?
Dante.
What? What did you think? That I was. I just wanted to.
I don't know, Cam. His face is like getting redder and redder by the minute that it looks like he might explode. He just ends up pinching the bridge of his nose and he just points towards the other side of the farthest corner of his little, I guess, his hide, like that he lies on, like some like nice comfy bear hide or something, or whatever it is he lies down on the tent. You can stay on that side. I'll be over here.
Camael raises a brow. Wait. Why over there? You're
He
weird.
just stares at Camael like just dumbfounded.
You're extremely weird. Do you know that? Also, you blushing, that's the first time.
I'm angry, Cam.
Oh, I'm sure you are, red-faced Branimir. Doesn't want a lady crawling in his tent, sleeping next to him.
Just pick your side, Cam.
Fine. You're so odd. And she picks her side. And
What the hell?
she curls up and faces him, and her eyes are wide open, just staring at him.
So we somewhat successfully get through Emmy's watch.
You're welcome.
It was all a watch.
That was all one watch. Yeah, that was amazing. Saoirse, second watch comes, eventually rolls around, and Emmy walks up to you and taps you on the shoulder.
Oh.
And it is your turn to watch. Give me a perception roll.
Okay. How does a 16 sound?
16 sounds okay. You have a successful night. You do not. Nothing major happens. Everything seems to be okay. About with a 16, I would say about an hour into your watch, you do hear something in the distance, very, very far distance.
Oh God.
But you're not quite sure what it was, and it doesn't repeat itself. you hear something, and you're not quite sure what it is. You make out some sort of a noise. It seems very distant. Some sort of, it seems natural sound in the far distance. You wait for a moment to see if it happens again, and it just does not. There's no response to it. There's no secondary sound. Do you do anything with that, or do you just ignore it?
Yeah, she would, while focusing and trying to, paying attention to see if she hears it again, she would use her primeval awareness. She would focus her attention and expend, that's a long rest. She would expend a second level slot. So for 2 minutes, she can, let's see, where is it? Where'd it go? Basically, she's, just testing to see if it is, I was just looking at it. If it's an aberration, celestial, dragon, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead. And if they're in a forest, it's within 6
miles.
So she wants to.
You don't identify what it is, though, right? Within 1 mile, this does not reveal the creature's location or number.
Yeah, it doesn't reveal the location or number. She can just sense if it's an aberration, celestial, dragon, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead.
Yes, you focus for a moment. Close your eyes. You do feel the presence of some sort of primeval creature. This abnormal aberration, not specifically an aberration, but some sort of unnatural creature. You're not quite sure what it is, and it doesn't seem as strong as what you felt in the past when there's something very noticeable, very distinct. This is related. It seems like it's something that's almost watered down version of something like this, if that makes sense. And as for distance, it's within the forest, so it's you have 6 miles. It is within your range, but it is very, very distant. And the longer that you focus on that, and you spend your entire 2 minutes trying to focus on this, it does not seem to be getting closer. It does not seem to be moving in any great speed or anything like that. It just seems to be something out there in the very far, far flung distance.
Okay. Yeah, she would use the full 2 minutes to kind of focus, keep her attention on it. And then once her primeval awareness ends, she would just open her eyes again and just pay attention to return her attention to the immediate area.
And nothing else seems out of place. No other creatures are stirring because of a disturbance or anything like that. Nothing around you seems abnormal. It was just that one sound that kind of takes you to that, and then you felt that when you did your awareness trick. But yeah, other than that, the rest of the evening goes by without issue for you.
Okay.
Dante,
Yes,
give
sir.
me a perception check.
I could do that. 18.
Yep. It is close to it's still dark when you take over, but as the night begins to, just before the night begins to end and the light begins to spread, just before that, rolled an 18. You notice something much closer than anything that Saoirse saw. The way that this is situated is the large tree is somewhat behind you, and you have this clearing, but the overhang of the tree is covering you, and there are trees and bushes and everything kind of surrounding you. This main entrance flows from an opening from a large clearing in the forest into this kind of almost forest cave, if you will, meaning covering and dwelling area. In front of you, so if you have your back towards the tree, in front of you, you see movement. You're not sure what it is, you just simply see the bush move.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do anything?
So there is movement. Okay. So
There is movement.
in relation to where everybody is sleeping, is it like on the other side of everybody? Like, am I situated in the center of the camp, or?
You're in the center of the camp. There's people kind of around you. You have clearance and you can see sight lines. Your main sight line is the main opening of the camp, and then around you, in front of you, but just on the edge of the clearing, where the foliage, the fauna begins. You see a shift in the trees and bushes there.
I don't see any shapes or anything like that. Just the bushes.
No.
Okay, he'll creep over to try and get a bit close, and as he sort of gets past Saoirse, he'll sort of stop just for a moment, just to whisper, "Wake up! There's something here." Saoirse.
What?
And he'll try and sneak forward.
As you do that, almost 180 degrees behind you, you see another rustle in the bushes behind you. This is probably 200 or more feet away from where you are. You moved towards where you saw the first
Yep. Yeah.
rustle,
I moved towards the first
and it
one.
is now directly behind you. Roll another perception check.
I rolled I rolled 12. It's almost as low as I can roll.
Saoirse, are you awake?
Yeah, she would be awake now and would just
Roll
watch
me a
after him.
perception check as well.
Okay.
Oh.
19.
Yeah, Dante's doing like a sort of, as he was moving towards the other bush, and Saoirse's sort of setting up, he's sort of pointing behind them, back where he saw that other rustle, as he moves towards the closest bush.
Okay, yeah.
So are you going?
She would
Which
look
one are you
to
moving
where-
towards, Ryan? Dante, which one is Ryan moving? The second one or the first one?
Ryan's getting off his ass and going towards the first one, the first rustle that he saw.
Or Dante.
I'm
Okay.
Dante.
Saoirse would turn and look in the direction that Dante pointed.
Dante, as you move towards this first bush, and Saoirse, your attention is turned to the second, almost on opposite sides of the camp. Dante, in your side, you feel the point of a rapier.
Do I see where that's
Listen.
Oh.
Don't make a noise. Do not alert the others. Do not awaken your friends. I do not aim to hurt you. Let us talk. Saoirse, you turn as you hear another a voice in the camp, and you see Dante, and you also see next to Dante. It's low light, so it's hard to make out a lot of details, but what you see is a very tall, very slender female figure, tall ears positioned on the very top of her head, She seems to be covered in orangish fur, darker striations near her forearms, and paw-like hands. She has a very thin and long tail that seems to almost steady her and anticipate her movements. She's wearing a green and brown tunic, matches perfectly with the surrounding woods, and a hood pulled up just behind the ears. She has a soft hide shorts and tall boots. In her hand is a fine-edged rapier that is now pointed directly at Dante's side. And you also see around her neck a necklace of swords.
DM moves.
Yep.
Would their movements trigger Emmy and Boltzmann's alarm spells?
I was just about
What's
to
the
ask same
range?
thing.
What's the range on alarm?
Wait.
30 feet.
I think if it's only 30 feet, you're probably on the outskirts of camp enough where it would not.
Ah, I see.
Actually, choose a door with no larger than a 20-foot cube. Oh, so you can cast it from 30 feet away, but it's a 20-foot cube. Is that really it?
Yeah, it's just a...
You usually put it across like a door jamb or something like that to be able to.
Gotcha. So
somebody
we would
can,
have to like tag team it anyway, and it wouldn't be very large.
Yeah. And it's further enough away. It's far enough outside the well where Dante went outside the main restriction of camp to go outside of that.
All right.
Dante, do you anything?
Dante.
You do anything?
Yeah,
Camael or not Camael? Does Seriously, do you do anything that you see this?
Well, she probably would have been reaching for her bow as she was looking in the direction that Dante pointed. And then as soon as she hears the voice, turns to see this woman, or from what she can tell, because she doesn't have dark vision, this creature, she would reach for an arrow to knock.
And as you do, she allows you. She doesn't do anything. She does put her hand towards you to recognize that she has seen you and is making eye contact with you at the corner of her eyes. Flashes back to Dante. Tell him to be cool. Everything will be fine. I simply have questions.
Dante, well, first can he glance down and see what she looks like?
Yeah, you saw what I said. So you see this tabaxi-like character.
Okay, so he sort of like will motion with his hand to just sort of wait for Saoirse. Like sort of like hold up his hand like, you know, oh, we're cool. I like you. What questions do you have?
Why camp here? This place is sacred.
Oh, yeah, well, we just got here. Someone who used to live here brought us here.
Not many make it this deep into the Slir, and none make it this far without us seeing where you came from. Where did you come from?
Armor.
To here,
Yes.
the middle of the Slir.
Yeah, yes. He's just got a big smile on his face. And he sort of like, as he sort of glances at her. Now, if you drop that weapon, perhaps we can have a civil talk.
Make a persuasion check. Roll for persuasion.
Alright. Just with my plus 11. Come on.
Just with your.
I rolled a 1! I rolled a 1!
Yeah,
You bragged about the
Very
plus 11,
unflattering.
and you get a 12. That's what happens.
But still, what's
Also
Very
my
unflattering.
world.
done?
I rolled a 1.
That's
Oh,
cool.
you're kidding me.
Did you just kill Moose?
What?
I need
Is Moose okay?
I need one more level, and then
It's
that
free.
would have just been a 21.
Oh, that would have been great.
Actually, let me have a look at something real quick.
Don't you have reliable talent or something?
What?
Just let me have a quick look at something. I'm pretty sure that's one more.
I'll give you a
level
minute.
up. Yeah, that's one more level. One more level. Reliable talent. That would have been a 21. if I had reliable talent. That's pretty funny.
I think you and I are both safer with me here, with this here.
Dante actually looks a little surprised. It just sort of, yeah. Well, let me tell you this. And he just sort of keeps his voice down so that like Saoirse can't hear it. I don't value my life that much that I would not turn around and let you poke me with that thing and then let her shoot you full of holes. That is the simple truth.
She could catch me.
Oh, she's very good with that thing. And while you're sticking me with that, well, you're not really going anywhere, are you?
Who is your friend? You said your friend lived here?
Yeah.
No one has lived here in many years.
Camael is her name.
Who is she?
Oh, that's a good question. Is Camael in a tent?
She is sharing
she's
a bed with
with
Brandon.
Oh, she is. Oh, okay. Somehow at the end of that, I thought that
We
didn't
exciting.
happen.
made that
Whole exciting
abundantly
episode,
clear
remember?
last
No.
time.
I thought by the end of that, it didn't happen. Like that after all that we went
Oh,
through.
it happened.
No,
Uh,
Brand
what
just
happened?
situated the owlbear between him.
It became a threesome.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
Bring in the furries.
Whoa, don't say it like that.
Oh, sweet. There's a tabaxi now.
There's just the back
Oh,
here.
man.
now.
What
It's
a
a whole
hell.
party. It's a whole party now.
Man.
Did they sort of before I give away too much more? What is this place to you?
It's sacred to my people. Questions can be asked, but not here. Not now. It's too dangerous. We track something near here. Giant predator. It's best if we ask questions at home. Awaken your friends. Come with me now.
You could have asked that in the first place.
I had to guarantee my safety. She pulls her rapier down, puts it back into her sheath.
Saoirse, could you wake up Camael and Bran?
What?
He rolls his
Everyone-
eyes. He rolls his eyes. We'll get to that.
Back up camp.
We'll get to that. We'll do that. We'll just wake those guys up first.
And
Saoirse.
Man.
Saoirse would go over to the tent and, not poking her head in, she would just speak up and say, Camael, Bran, it's time to get up. Come
And
out
what will
slowly.
come? Oh yeah, go on. Sorry.
Oh, just come out slowly. Everything is calm. But it's time to get up.
There will be a Addie that pokes her head throughout the tent and just crosses in between Saoirse's legs.
Probably not the first time, so Saoirse would just kind of probably stand bow-legged so that for a moment, so that
Like a cat, Addie
can-
will brush
yeah.
up against Saoirse's leg.
As this female kind of motions for Dante to move towards the camp, she looks out towards the clearing. You can see her ears begin to twitch slightly. Just taking in the surroundings, making sure everything is still safe before slowly backing into camp, keeping her eyes focused on the outside.
How many more of you are out there?
You were lucky this time. It's just me.
Oh wow, you move very quick.
Look at this smooth.
Where did Bran? Where is Bran? Sorry, Boltzmann.
Dante's trying to punch his card here.
Hey,
Boltzmann's scent is just.
He's got a
just right.
checklist.
He's got a checklist.
Oh, don't you
Just
wish
have
you knew what that
tabaxi
was?
on it.
Don't you?
Never
wish
had
you-
tabaxi before.
Didn't know they
We're
existed.
all out hunting relics here. No, Dante's.
I got a bucket list. Leave me alone.
Dante's found his relic.
I got a bucket list. Don't you worry.
So she backs into camp. What are you guys doing?
Well, once he backs in,
wait.
the alarm would go off, wouldn't it? Because a non-friendly.
Eventually, but you guys are waking up anyway. Whoever's there.
Where's Boltzmann?
Yeah,
Where is
we'll talk
Boltzmann? Because
Boltzmann's tent would be right beside Brand's.
and Emmy is in a tent as well.
Yes, but hers is up in her normal away
Yeah.
corner.
So he'll lead her back into the camp so that she'll trip the one or both of the alarms as
Yeah.
well.
Sure. No problem there. And I would say, Emmy, you would wake up before your alarms bill with your staff.
Oh yes, that's right. Well, they're not sneaking up on me.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Never mind.
Or does it? Yeah.
No, it's more of like a sneak up thing. Never mind.
Cool.
You guys come out of the tent. What do you guys do when you figure
yeah.
back into camp?
Okay. Camael will actually wake up and just find herself cradled in Brandimir's arms. She doesn't say anything. She's just like, she wakes up, looks up at him, and just kind of scrunches her nose with his fucking beard in her face. She just kind of pokes him. It's time to wake up. You need to shave. And she wiggles and gets on all fours because she did hear Saoirse calling them. She's still a little sleepy and bedhead and all. It's like a cow just came in the fucking tent and licked her head and then walked out.
As this person gets closer into camp, I need everybody to make a perception check as well.
Okay, perception.
Oh no.
Cool. Emmy's like in her own night stuff, like her hair. She doesn't have her hat on. She has her hair up in a scarf and all that, and her like big old nightgown.
Right.
As an 18.
Perception.
Saoirse and Camael. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what is happening today?
Just Camael and Saoirse. Both of you notice now that she is in the full light. You do notice this. You see more details of this tabaxi. The one detail, Camael, that comes into focus fairly quickly for you, because it is so ingrained into you, is the necklace that she is wearing. It is a river stone that is flat on one side,
Oh my god.
and in the stone is etched with the symbol of the Guardian, otherwise known as the word that you know as Camael. And that is where we will leave tonight's session.
I
You
knew
got
it.
a cult?
You.
Hell yeah.
Hells yeah.
Emmy was
We don't
gonna
have an
ask
army.
about
Bring
that.
them back for snoo.
She was gonna ask about
That's
that symbol. being
Dante's.
like, oh.
That's Dante's cult.
The Dante's
oh
dream.
yeah, sorry. Sorry,
That's
Dante.
just new as Dante's cult.
Wow.
So that is where we will end things this evening. What do you think, guys?
This is just a never-ending.
Camael's going to become a warlock patron.
Right?
That was
All right.
Everybody.
Thank you,
I was, sorry, I was
everyone.
muted.
Right?
Dante
Yeah, you
needs,
guys will-
Dante
will
needs her name.
Shocked, man. I gotta move on.
I was muted. Dante needs her
Thank you,
name.
Dante.
And he doesn't have a cult. He doesn't have a cult, and he needs a name.
Well, there's always
I'd
next
have a
week for
cult.
that. You have to turn in next week to be able to find out her name and if Camael has a cult. But for tonight,
does.
thank you for all of our followers and supporters this week. We appreciate everyone. Aldo Ditto again with another 100 bits. Aldo, you're a maniac. Thank you very much. We appreciate you very, very much. We appreciate people appreciating the stream. Thank you to all of our followers, supporters this week, everyone for being here, being a part of the show. If you missed any part of this episode, the VOD is available immediately on Twitch, but they do not stay there forever. If you want to catch up with any of our previous episodes of the campaign, the link to our YouTube is below. Search Black Dragon RP. Look for our big dragon eye logo. Last thing before we go, I want to take a moment and shout out to our players. In the info box below, you'll see some links. Go check out these wonderful people. Some of them have links to their Twitter account, like RPG Theologian, Rob, who plays Saoirse, The Relentless Hunter, Aaron, who plays Branimir, Throwaway Doodles, Ellen, who plays Boltzmann, some who stream here on Twitch, like Thumper Knox, Ryan, who plays Dante, Yumi Sagara, Tony, who plays Camael, and Brenna, who streams on the Bryn Nailed It channel and plays Amivi. I am Brad. I'm known as Monocle Moose on all platforms. Go check us out. Please go to the info box below, click the links, say hi to us. I think that wraps up this episode from us. Thank you very much for being here. We will be here again next week. Same time, same Twitch channel. We love you very much, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.